The entire acquisition of Pharmarack and the merger of AWS was possibly a pivotal moment in our, I think, being in B2B space, working with more institutionalized people who have got a very strong focus on, generating their sales and kind of making money out of it. So their need perceptions are always, much more higher than the other people. So, I mean, you have got retailers who actually, are those pan and BD walas, also a lot of those in tier 3, tier 4 smaller cities actually selling that kind of stuff. So, where we possibly are doing 200,000 plus transactions in a day, orders in a day. So, we have got a reach of almost like 15,000 plus distributors and 200,000 plus retailers. And if you look at the systems we have actually been managing, I mean, integrated end to end. So there are almost like 200 plus ERPs which have been integrated. The retailers were able to place the orders in real time for the distributor. Now, that solved a big part of the puzzle because earlier, traditionally, the industry, I mean, I'm sure you also know, a lot of people know that. So it's mostly MRs and a lot of sales people who will call the retailer, ask him for orders, go to his shop, force him and ask him. I mean, our journey and the relationship with the AWS has been possibly, I guess, since 2013 or 2016, I guess 22, when we decided to move all our digital assets on AWS cloud. And there were reasons to do that because it was fragmented and there were different systems we were using. There were multiple points of failure. The supports were, the kind of support we were getting from AWS was not something that we were able to, see with the other people.
If patience is the best medicine, then patients till some time ago could be compared to monks in trying to keep themselves cool when dealing with the healthcare sector. But post the pandemic, we are seeing the pharmaceutical ecosystem raise its digital quotient. Ab dawa or dua are electronically delivered at your doorstep. Net result, a retailization of experience not just in B2C but also in the B2B space like never before. Hello and welcome to Crafting Bharat. This is ground zero for exploring some of the biggest launch vehicles working to take their startup and this nation's growth ambitions to the stratosphere. I'm your host Gautam Srinivasan, and today I will be speaking with the leader of a startup that is transforming the fragmented value chain of chemists, distributors, and brands, and in the process, taking India's $58 billion pharmaceuticals industry to new horizons. The brand is Pharmarack, and Amit Kaul is here to give us an inside look at its vision and mission. Amit, great to have you with us.
Thanks a lot, Gautam. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure. And I must say the start was really interesting.
Well, the start was interesting. Let's see how the main story pans out. Let's understand how Pharmarack started on this mission to become India's largest B2B e-commerce platform in the pharma space on our first segment titled Ignite. All right, Amit. Let's look at the issues rather that have kept the pharma value chain fragmented. Because we have a mix of foreign MNCs. You've got large Indian pharma companies. You've got MSMEs with differing capacities and capabilities, and add to that mix, you have got many small and independent pharmacies and distributors. Usme, let's put in the issues because you've got poor infrastructure like inadequate cold chain facilities and logistics networks, especially when we talk about, say, tier 3, tier 4 areas. Now, considering the sheer number of issues that are at play, what was the MVP idea for Pharmarack to start things off in its mission to digitize the trade channel? Because trade channel has its own unique sort of dynamics at play. So the MVP idea, take us through that.
So, Gautam, as you rightly mentioned, if you look at the pharma, entire industry as it is in this country, I mean, it's one of the most fragmented industries per se with, the number of distributors, stockists, small players. It's more of a homegrown kind of an industry, which has over a period of time, become extremely big. But if you look at the number of players, you've got Indian manufacturers, you've got MNCs, as you rightly said, you've got MSMEs, you've got large distributors,
हम
you've got
साथ
very
साथ हैं.
small distributors, you've got very small retailers. I mean, you've got retailers who actually are those pan and BD walas. Also, a lot of those in tier 3, tier 4 smaller cities actually selling that kind of stuff. So the industry is very fragmented. Now, on top of that, you rightly said there are supply chain inefficiencies. There is no cold chain, and if you look at it, the entire industry, there are large number of ERP, I mean systems, homegrown systems. Now, every street and every village in India will have a. I mean, if there is a distributor, he will have a different system of his own. There's no standardization. There are too many systems. So now the entire, all of this actually, when put together, makes the entire system really inefficient because no standards, no infrastructure, no systems. So the initial idea for us was to at least solve that puzzle with the retailers, the traders, as you rightly said, the smaller ones, to help them, the retailers and the distributors to come up with to fix that ordering puzzle, so to speak. So we started with a small ordering app, and the uniqueness of the app was that we actually integrated with the. I mean, there are possibly 500 plus ERP systems in the country. So we designed our own unique ways of integrating, and we have almost like 200 plus of these ERPs which are integrated. And you know, the moment we launched the app, and the small retailers were able to see the inventory in real time. So because we integrated with the distributor system, so we got the inventory visibility, the schemes visibility, and the retailers were able to place the orders in real time for the distributor. Now, that solved a big part of the puzzle, because earlier, traditionally, the industry, I mean, if I'm sure you also know, a lot of people know that. So it's mostly MRs and a lot of salespeople who will call the retailer, ask him for orders, go to his shop, force him and ask him. I mean, but now we solve the puzzle. So you don't have to be dependent on a salesman to go to a retailer and do that job, which is in any case error prone. But the people were able to see the inventories, they were able to see the schemes, they knew what they need, and they started placing the orders. So once that thing went live, and initially we saw the traction was really good. I mean, within few days, few weeks, we had a lot of people actually who were interested in the app, and people started using that. So that set the stage for a lot of innovations in the future.
Fantastic, because I want to bring in my next question, which is on the momentum play. I've got some statistics here. In 4 years since starting in 2015, Pharmarack reached a network milestone of 4,000 distributors and 60,000 pharmacies. That's the starting point. 2 years after that, numbers shot up to 10,000 distributors, 150,000 pharmacies, and 163,000 orders per day. So, give us a behind the scenes look at how Pharmarack managed this momentum play, and in the process, how its product roadmap evolved and how you were solving customer pain points.
So I guess, I mean, I think from the time you actually did the research until the time I'm
अभी तो
sitting
बहुत
right now, I'm sitting here. So we have got almost like we possibly are doing 200,000 plus transactions in a day, orders in a day. So
all right.
we have got a reach of almost like 15,000 plus distributors and 200,000 plus retailers. And if you look at the systems who have actually been managing, I mean, integrated end to end. So there are almost like 200 plus ERPs which have been integrated. As I told you in earlier, that I mean, in this industry, there are, I mean, every village, every street has got a different ERP. So 10 pharmacies or two distributors in a area, they will have a different ERP kind of stuff. So there are very small number of large ERPs who actually are at play. So that brings in a lot of complexities in the whole equation. So while we started initially with trying to solve the puzzle with the retailers, and we had our own successes with that, so we decided to actually make this entire chain, at least bring this chain together, and bring the people, different stakeholders who are in this supply chain, like you've got the manufacturers, you've got distributors, stockists, you've got your retailers. So bring all of them together on a single digital platform. So with that thought, our products also have been evolving over a period of time in the similar fashion. So the entire idea is to, one, make the flow of data orders from retailer to the company seamless through a digital channel. And then the second part is obviously once you have got all this data, but once you have got the ordering and returns and your invoicing and everything is actually fixed through a digital channel, the most logical thing is your data equation. So how do you do the analysis of what is being
Yeah,
done in
because
this
the
industry?
data has come
Yeah.
in now.
Now the
It's the
data has
turn for
started flowing in.
insights to
Yeah.
come in.
Earlier it used to take possibly months, or I don't know whether it was even flowing in. The real data was flowing in, but now
What I want to know is one single point in terms of momentum. What is your biggest plus point when you saw? So, as you mentioned, you started serving retailers, you solved their pain points. Was it like did they drive adoption that if the retailer is using your platform, then it makes the others, the distributors, and everyone else also to organically come into your platform because that's where the retailer is? That's
no, I
what how
think
it works?
that has been the biggest drive because once the retailers actually, I mean, you solve the major equation because if in this chain, retailer is the key person who actually is sitting directly with you and me. So he's the one who sells the end of the day sells the product. So once he found, and he had nothing with him because these are very small players. They can't invest in technology. They can't invest in systems. So the dependence is mostly on phones, and they write on piece of papers. So once we solved that, and automatically there was a lot of pull from the retailers in terms of the adoption on the platform. And I guess over a period of time, even upstream, your distributors and manufacturers also realize that this is the product which actually solves that equation and bridges the gap between the retailer and the company. So that's how we have been actually moving
You were at
ahead.
the
And
right point in that
yeah,
value
yeah,
chain.
right point in that value chain, and possibly at the right. I will say this is actually the right time to be there. So we have got farm retail, farm connect, farm analytics, all of these which actually solve the.
Your suite of services as you offer. We'll talk about how you're balancing innovation with scale, but that's at a later time. Let's look at 2021 because Pharmarack gets acquired by a consortium of over 17 pharma companies and merges with AWACS, which is a market research firm. Now we have synergies, we have economies of scale, and operational efficiencies unlocked. But it was also a time when retailization of experience was coming in, even in the B2B space. Typically, it's seen as a B2C phenomenon, but even B2B was seeing a lot of retailization. So, what did you observe about changing customer expectations pre pandemic and post pandemic? Because post pandemic is where we saw a lot of this expectation on retailization enabled by digitization. And how did you capitalize on this opportunity, especially the retailization aspect in the B2B space?
See, I guess the entire acquisition of Pharmarack and the merger of AWACS was possibly a pivotal moment in our because it actually did two things. It actually opened up a bigger market for us in terms of, because there were 17 different the large companies who had invested and who became a part of the company, and that opened up a lot of market opportunity for us. Plus, the integration of AWACS brought in a lot of data and analytics kind of
So the
capabilities.
pieces fit
So
in.
the pieces started fitting in. So uh, if you look at that entire ecosystem that way, so I guess it happened at the right time. And then pre-pandemic, if I have to put it that way, so pre-pandemic it was more transactional in nature. The relationship between the retailer and the distributor and the kind of ordering patterns we used to see was more. It was very transactional. It was very based on building the efficiencies and solving that the basic operational need.
Bread
But
and butter use
yeah, bread and
cases.
butter kind of stuff. But the pandemic changed a lot of things. So pandemic changed a lot of things, and people, all the retailers and the customers on the ground, they they started thinking of digital channels more from a more personalized kind of experiences perspective. So post-pandemic, we have been actually seeing that. I mean, earlier while it was operational, now it is more personalized.
Any examples you can share of any?
I can tell you, I mean, we have got I mean, over a period of time, earlier retailer will actually come and say, he will actually go and start punching the orders and get the products and done. But now, post pandemic, I mean, people want a lot of value added stuff. They want somebody to call them. They want the new features. They will ask for, I want to search for the products and I want to see the schemes also with the people. I want the prescriptions to be uploaded on the system. So there's a lot of stuff. And now, because they started realizing that digital is the channel, where the future lies, and it has got immense potential, and things can be done. So I guess in last 2 years, if I look at it, the amount of innovations and the kind of features we have been actually launching in the product is immensely huge, mostly driven by the need and our understanding on the ground with the retailers, because they are demanding. They want the ledgers on the app. They will want the invoices to be displayed on the system. So they want the reconciliation to be done. So they want a lot of stuff now. We recently have something around scan based, AI ML based returns, which we have integrated. So a lot of these are actually either industry challenges or the pull from the people who are using it.
Well, you've given us lots of cues, and we'll expand on that on our next segment, because we'll expand the scope of this conversation to get the prescriptions on expansion and managing scale from a Pharmarack perspective on our next segment titled Launch. All right, Amit. In a decade, Pharmarack has grown to become India's largest B2B e-commerce platforms in GMV terms and is present in 40 locations across the country. Please feel free to update me in case these figures are not updated. Now, a lot of startups, they usually fail when they expand their locations and their offerings a bit fast. So, was your pure B2B play, in a sense, a blessing, since it's easier to sort of gauge market behavior, market expansion possibilities in this B2B framework versus, say, a B2C model? Is that what makes Pharmarack a resilient business, in your opinion?
I will say, I mean, it's not an easier thing being in B2B play. But you're right. I think being in B2B space, working with more institutionalized people who have got a very strong focus on generating their sales and kind of making money out of it. So their need perceptions are always much more higher than the other people. So
And
that
they're
has
also
really
very
helped.
vocal with
They
their
are very vocal
feedback.
with their stuff, because they want to get the value out of it. Either they get value out of it and use the stuff, or else they don't use it. So because it's not about they are not using your stuff only for the sake of it. They are using it because it helps their business. So I guess uh, yeah, and I mean, it has been a conscious decision on part of Pharmarack to be build our relationship with the businesses, the small retailers, the distributors, you know uh, understand the challenges they have, and then build on top of that, so that you are addressing real world problems, so to speak, and trying to deliver value to them, because end of the day, I mean, whatever we do is going to help the industry overall as a whole. And given the number of retailers you have, possibly, I guess, 1 million, or maybe more than that. So the the opportunity is large. The customer set is very large, and the ability to service them is going to take a bit of takes a bit of lot of energy and that
But you have
resilience.
the experience.
We have got
That's the key
we
here.
have the experience, and we have got the will, and we have been in the space since so many years. I mean, if you look at from an industry perspective, or the work that we have done, we have got one of the largest pharma catalogs. We have got almost like 400,000 SKUs. We have got almost 15,000 distributor catalogs linked to the unique product codes, which nobody else will have. And I guess I told you, I mean, the number of orders that those we handle are phenomenally huge. And then we are integrated with the companies also. It's not about only integration from retailer to distributor. We have got an integration with the manufacturers also. So that gives us a lot of advantage from that perspective.
So, how do you leverage that advantage to sort of balance innovation with, say, the products that you release? Because, as you mentioned, you've got Farm Connect, you've got Farm Retail, and the number of customers significantly expanded. You're processing over 200,000 orders a day, 300,000 SKUs, 6,000 brands, and you've got 250,000 retailers and 12,000 distributors. So, keeping all this in mind, balancing innovation and scale, what makes Pharmarack, a great story on that front, and how does scaling up bring down prices for the average consumer?
So I will say, I mean, there will be, if you ask me, there are two parts of this story. So one is providing functional and the feature rich stuff to the consumer, the person who is actually using it, and in the back end, ensuring that the infrastructure and the technologies which you build are able to support that, and are able to deliver the innovations every day. So while we have got one part of the story where we are continuously trying to engage with retailers, distributors, trying to increase that pie, there's a lot of focus on the back end innovation. So we have been, I guess, we have been using some state of the art technologies. We have focused on security systems. We have got some innovative database systems. We have been. If I look at my technology landscape over a period of time, we are possibly one of the more. I mean, that's what at least I will feel.
नहीं नहीं अपने खुद की प्रशंसा
हमारी खुद
कीजिए.
की presence है. We feel that we have got some of the latest and the best in the town. We have been using a lot of AI, ML, and computer vision based systems, to solve a lot of puzzles in this chain. So we are innovating on both fronts. We are trying to address the problem with the features and functionalities. Like I give you some examples. So we've got returns integrated. That's a big problem with the retailers, distributors, companies, everybody. Now we have got prescriptions because you are mandated to have copies of prescriptions available for the drug inspector to see. Now nobody has that, so we are providing those kind of solutions.
All right. Well, there are different dynamics to this conversation. Time to press boost on this talk to gauge how AWS enabled Pharmarack to transform the pharmaceutical ecosystem. All right, Amit. Pharmarack has been associated with AWS since 2016 when you began running your core workloads. Then you've shifted your entire workloads onto the AWS cloud, I think by 2023. Now you're also on Amazon Aurora, which helps you build Gen AI applications. You mentioned some of the use cases where you're using AI. If you can expand on that to talk about use cases where AWS has brought Pharmarack up to speed, up to scale.
I will say, I think our journey and the relationship with the AWS has been possibly, I guess, since 2013 or 2016. I guess that's the time we moved to AWS and we have been using that. But I would say it possibly was a transactional thing. But till 2021, when we 22 when we decided to move all our digital assets on AWS cloud. And there were reasons to do that because it was fragmented and there were different systems we were using. There were multiple points of failure. The supports were, the kind of support we were getting from AWS was not something that we were able to, see with the other people. So we decided to bring everything together. And initially, we were using AWS RDS with EC2 instances. We have actually moved to, you mentioned Aurora. So we have been trying to consolidate and bring everything together to make sure that there's a fail-safe environment and because the kind of industry we are in and the kind of growth we are actually seeing, and the new retailers onboarding and a lot of new businesses and the orders increasing. We needed systems which can help us dynamically grow, scale up, and ensure that kind of fail-safe environment. So one thing is you keep on growing, but then if you are not able to support that growth with a very
With the right
secure,
platform.
and I mean retailers will always want even if it is his 10 rupee का business, he will call you and tell you that मेरा 10 रुपए का loss हो गया सर, इसके आपका product नहीं मिला. So for him that 10 rupees is important. So now ensuring that you have got the needs of all the customers taken care of, and you are able to address all of that. So we decided to move to AWS, and I guess it has been the journey has been really smooth, and I guess our Aurora transition was all supported by AWS. So far so good.
Fantastic. You also spoke about the consistency of the data catalog. I want to bring this conversation in because how have your AI enabled efforts on AWS helped you bring consistency of the data catalog throughout your pharma value chain? And in turn, how has it helped you reduce time to market and ensure availability of quality medicines across the country? If you can expand on that.
See, I will tell you, I mean, the fragmented nature that we spoke about, and the kind of multiple systems those exist in in this entire ecosystem, almost like if I talk about my distributor and retailer and other systems, so possibly there will be 500 plus different systems. Now, and the level of education and the maturity with a lot of these distributors and retailers is also, I mean, it's mostly small time
Skewed
players.
towards
Yeah, it's very small time players. I mean, I I have got a small shop to open, and I manage a pharmacist license, and I start a shop, and I do that. I may not be highly qualified or well educated, but that's a business I run that's my bread and butter. Now, I may not be very conversant with good systems or my ability to define and write products properly in those systems. Now, so everybody in his own system has defined products in a different way. So I may have, I mean, if it is like, let me take the example of doxycycline. So somebody has written DXY, somebody has written
okay.
DXCY in a system. So
So
you have
to
got
harmonize that, you're
there is
seeing
no
AI has.
harmonization in the in those
At least in
names
the
also.
back end, I'm saying,
Yeah,
as you said.
yeah, there is no
There'll
harmonization.
be a different way any.
डोलो का किसी ने DOL लिख
हाँ,
दिया, somebody has written DLX, somebody has written DLO 650. So all kinds of variations exist. Now, how do you, when the person is ordering from a system, so how do you make sure, identify at least, that whatever name he has actually written,
That's actually
that's
doxycycline.
that's doxycycline. So DL 650 is Dolo 650. So you need some advanced technologies to make sure that what it is. So I guess from an industry standpoint, I would say Pharmarack, at least that's what I feel, that Pharmarack is the only player in the market who has got the largest catalog. We cover almost, if not more, but 99% of all the medicines across this industry, possibly 420,000 products is what we have got, and we have got a unique record for identifier for every single medicine in this country. So you won't find more than that. So and if there is a new addition, we actually pull those and automatically get added to our system. So we have so I mean we
So in a sense, you operate like Amazon.
yeah, we operate like Amazon. You're right, because we have got a large catalog, and for that also we actually partnered AWS. We combined AWS with Snowflake, the data lakes, and we have been delivering the because it's a very complex operation. Because I mean, in a fraction of seconds, possibly milliseconds, the person enters the name, and in the back end the resolution happens, and it gives him the correct product. So, and if he has ordered, if he was thinking of ordering Dolo 650, that's what he wants to get.
But
So
that's
your
part of
system
what they
needs
call
to,
the wow experience,
yeah,
where the customer does this and notice that they get
exactly,
the right medicine. They realize that, wow,
yeah,
there is a technology, there's a digitization that is working for their benefit.
exactly, and that's where a lot of this AI, ML, and I mean a lot of these innovative technologies came into play. Because your turnaround time of trying to resolve those resolve the information, and then possibly responding back to him and giving him the right order is very instrumental for this entire industry. So and we have been able to solve that puzzle. I mean, that's the reason, I guess, 200,000 plus orders in a day, I guess. It's phenomenally large number.
But it solves a core pain point, as you mentioned. If you notice turnaround time significantly reducing, that automatically percolates down in the system that there are benefits, tangible benefits, which everyone is experiencing. All right. Speaking of turnaround, let's see how Pharmarack seeks to contribute to India's growth ambitions for Mission 2047 on our final segment called Orbit. All right. The biggest challenges, Amit, that Pharmarack is targeting now to solve as India seeks not just to become a developed ecosystem for healthcare, but also a developed nation by 2047. For example, in a poll that Pharmarack had posted on LinkedIn on the most critical challenge in the pharma supply chain industry, users had highlighted inaccurate demand forecasting as the primary concern, followed by counterfeit prevention. So, your thoughts on what needs to happen for this ecosystem to expand, and how does Pharmarack see a role that it plays in this expanding ecosystem?
I mean, these are possibly the two largest inefficiencies in this supply chain. So, if you look at demand forecasting, it's majorly driven by your ability to process the information in a fast-paced environment. One is to collect the information and then be able to process. So it's like I understand that Gautam needs this kind of medicine at this point of time, and then I am able to even though you don't have the systems, you may not be able to foresee that need, but I can go back
It
and tell you.
anticipates the
You
need.
can't anticipate that because you don't have the some evolved systems to take care of that,
But
because
it
these
can
are
be
small players.
seasonal, right? For
It
example, if
can be
there's a
seasonal.
cold season, then
Yeah, yeah.
Dolo
It's
650 and
always
all
seasonal.
these,
So demand is
paracetamols and
always
all.
seasonal.
Huh.
So then I can go back. My system can go back and tell you that this at this point of time I feel you are running out of this product, and this is what you will need. Now this is the season of flus, and these are the medicines you should actually buy. So that demand forecasting has been a I would say automatic replenishment and demand forecasting have been one of the major lag areas for the entire industry. Not only this one, but a lot of other industries also. Uh, but
But do you think it would get more granular? Because if, let's say, under the digital health mission, electronic health records become more mainstream, that means your retailer, to whom the end customer is interacting with, has a richer data universe to tap into, which in turn gives you a far more, granular data set for your demand forecasting
I
needs.
guess I don't know. I mean, how fast that can be done and how much that can help you. But I mean, it definitely, ideally, in a realistic ecosystem, this should definitely provide you a lot of information about the consumption patterns and what kind of demand is there. But but we have got our own systems. We actually consume a lot of data from distributors and other whatever stock and sales party wise data. So all of that we actually keep on gathering from different sources, and then our engines actually run and predict what kind of stuff is moving at what point of time in the market. Because one of the major areas for us is the data analysis and our ability to provide in fact we provide a lot of these KPIs, industry specific reports and everything else, which tells you the therapy wise how what kind of medicines are working, how different companies are doing. So a lot of that data insight also. And uh, then based on a lot of this data that we consume, and we tell the retailer that this is what you should be ordering at this point of time. So now that helps him
It's a
multiple ways. Yeah,
corporatization
yeah.
of an unorganized sector. You're making
Now
them
he can
run like
rely
a.
on the system that I'm not going to lose my sales because I didn't keep track of the product, but the system is keeping track of that and telling me that this is the time when you should buy this kind of product. So
Fantastic.
that we have been trying to address. uh, Counterfeits, I guess,
Fraud prevention.
is one of the largest, is a big problem. I guess different industry sources peg the number at different percentage. You may hear 5% or 20% or any other number. I don't know. I mean, what is the real number? But it's a problem. It's a big problem. So and we recently have come up with a product called FarmScam. So it's a AI/ML based, computer vision based system. So again, runs on AWS, and it what it does is when because this fragmented supply chain, people can uh, introduce a counterfeit at any point in that chain, because it can be at the time of from the retailer side, distributor, or any other point in the chain. So it verifies the product batch numbers with the company batch numbers and tells people whether it's real or not, it's fake or it's
That would be very helpful,
Yeah.
especially to a lot of folks who worry about these things, and you hear it in the news, you wonder what exactly you do, and there you go, there's a
So we
solution.
are trying from our, from Pharmarack side, we have been actually, since we are in the market, we have got a lot of, we have got our hands and, legs and ears on the ground. So we try to understand and, see what are the different, what are the bigger issues and
Hmm.
things which people need. And we have been trying to put in all our efforts to, at least address and solve some of the problems which we can.
No, and that's where the answers can also come from the business sector. It always doesn't need to be from the regulation side. The solutions can come from the innovation side of business as well. All right, keeping that in mind, let's look at the top priority now for India to rise in the global pharma value chain, because the pharma industry in India aims to more than double its size to about, I think, 120 to 130 billion dollars by 2030. So, in your opinion, I think India currently supplies 20% of the world's generic drug demand and ranks 11th in terms of volume and value. So, what needs to be the top priority for India to rise in the pharma value chain from here on? Any suggestions you would give?
I think I think if you look at the aspiration of actually becoming that number three
Hmm.
economy, I guess pharma will have to play a very significant role in that entire thing, because we need to address. I mean, this is one sector,
Hmm.
but some of the challenges, if you ask me, I guess,
More on the priority.
yeah, I
Challenges,
I will say
maybe the top priority in your opinion.
I will say fixing the supply chain possibly. That's one of
Hmm.
the key things. Bringing in more transparency and uh, you know uh, to make sure that the quality and track and traceabilities of the products are actually taken care of, because globally majority of the countries will have that kind of requirement. So people want to know where it came from, all the kind of hands and places it actually went through, and then how did it land at the customer's place. Then you're one of the key things will be introduction of technology, the Gen AI and AI and some innovative technologies in this sector, because I guess uh, uh, personally, if I look at this sector, I guess pharma traditionally has been very technology averse sector. So you
Hmm.
don't have a lot of technology interventions in this country. So I guess that is going to be important. Our ability to do the research and development, invest in those sectors, create our own patented medicines, that definitely is going to be one of the other areas. And our ability to capitalize on the being the mass market producer for the drugs which have been actually, for which the patents have expired, the generics and
Hmm.
other medicines, I guess. So these will be 5 6 areas where we possibly, I feel, I mean, where we have to this country will have to action.
Action
Yeah, yeah.
changes to make sure that they happen. All right, we have just scratched the surface. That's the message coming out in terms of the possibilities that the pharmaceutical ecosystem has to offer to any of you watching out there trying to deliver meaningful outcomes and use technology in that objective. Well, that's our cue to end this revealing conversation around running a startup that is improving the health of the pharma value chain with a steady dose of digital solutions. Amit, it's been fantastic to speak with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Gautam, for having me here, and it was pleasure speaking with you. And I really enjoyed sharing some of the industry insights. And I should say, I mean, the kind of research you have done and the kind of questions were really, yeah.
Well, we always believe if the information keeps getting refreshed, but the insights keep getting stored. So, thank you so much for providing us
Thank
with
you.
your insights. And of course, thank you to our viewers for tuning in. Till next time, this is your host, Gautam Srinivasan, signing off.